host for the evening, JB Ellis. How you doing, JB, this week?
Doing good. Out at the National Scouting Combine. We're live out here in Westfield, Indiana, right outside Indianapolis. Looking forward to championship week.
Yeah, let me tell you something, folks. We're doing championship week here in the NFL. It's down to 2 games, 4 teams. I mean, a lot of excitement going on in the NFL. There's a lot of talk of different players moving. But these games last week also, let's talk about last week's games just for a moment. The Giants at Philly. I know you like the Giants to keep that game close. I like the blowout. Philly won 38-7. Then you had on Sunday, Cincinnati at Buffalo. I know you liked Cincinnati. I think you liked Cincinnati in that game, right?
That is correct, yes.
Right, and I like Cincinnati as well. And then it was Dallas and San Francisco. That was also on Sunday. I think you liked. Did you like Dallas or San Francisco in that game?
No, we were both the same on Sunday. We agreed.
That's
on
right.
Sunday.
So it was. You had liked the Jags, and I liked Kansas City. And if it wasn't for that backdoor cover and Mahomes getting hurt, I think they would have blown out Jacksonville. But K Sarah, KC moves on, and you got 2 games this weekend. They're both on Sunday, folks. Nice games. Let's go right to them. You got Sunday at 3 o'clock. You got the number 2 seed still left, San Francisco, at the number 1 seed, Philadelphia Eagles, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Philadelphia, I know, is 2.5-point favorite at home. Who are you liking in this game, JB, and why?
It's a great question. Both of these games are really great games, but starting off with the San Francisco defense, D'Amico Ryans has done an outstanding job. I mean, they shut down Dallas. They did a great job, kept Dak looking horrible in that game Sunday night. I like their defense. I think they're going to win because of that defense. Purdy doesn't have to think. He just has to do with those weapons he has, as I've been saying. And they've been my pick to go to the Super Bowl since they got the McCaffrey trade. So with all those weapons on offense and that defense, I'm going to go with my pick. I'm getting 2.5 points. I think they win it outright. I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers all the way in from Santa Clara.
I got to tell you something. I disagree with you completely, and I'll tell you why. I like Philadelphia. At home. Brock Purdy has really never had to prove himself. The last game that he had, against Dallas, he didn't turn the ball over. But they have not really played a very tough team since Kansas City, and when Jimmy G was the quarterback and they had just got Christian McCaffrey. One of the things that San Francisco is lacking is they do not have a shutdown corner. They are 20th in the league, again, in the pass defense. Philadelphia is more of a complete team. They have both offense and defense running perfectly at this time. They are a great team. You want to talk stats, Philly has the number 1 total defense with the number 1 pass defense. If San Francisco gets down, and Philadelphia takes a nice lead here, 14-0, Brock Purdy and company, we'll see how he operates because he hasn't really been pushed to show what he can do because he's always been playing with a lead. San Francisco is number 5 total offense, number 7 rush offense, number 11 pass offense. But let me tell you something. Philadelphia beats you with so many different things. They led the league in 70 sacks. They had 70 sacks. They had 17 interceptions this season. They're a complete team. And they're going to show Brock Purdy certain looks that he's not going to see on the tape because he hasn't been around. He's only been doing like 8 games, 9 games.
Let me ask you a question, Jeff. You don't think the Dallas defense tested him?
No, Dallas is a completely different kind of team. That was a defensive struggle. But the fact of the matter is that Prescott played a bad game. He gave he had 2 interceptions, and he gave San Francisco 6 points out of those. That was a defensive struggle on both sides. Philadelphia is more of a complete team. San Francisco has what's known as the X factor, Nick Bosa. How Philadelphia handles him on the line, that will determine how the game goes for Jalen Hurts. Nick Bosa can disrupt any game. Philadelphia has to have somebody back there or even like 2 guys on the line that could take care of him and not disrupt the Philadelphia offense. Last week, they showed what they have. They showed their arsenal. They didn't show everything. They can beat you a lot of different ways. And the defense as well. They have cover guys. They have guys who step up. They have guys that make tackles at the line of scrimmage. I think this is going to be a very difficult game for San Francisco. I like Philadelphia winning this game by 7.
The one thing that scares me with San Francisco, they've had trouble against mobile quarterbacks. That's been kind of their Achilles heel with their losses. But I still think the defense steps up. I definitely see your points. You make valid points. But I do say that the Dallas defense was a test for Brock Purdy. I think he has too many weapons. I'm not saying Philly's not a good team. You know, they have everything. But at the same time, San Francisco has everything. So I think this is the game that we deserve to see in the NFC Championship. And I'm going to go with my gut, with my San Francisco 49ers, who I felt once they got McCaffrey, it gave them everything that they needed to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, you know, the fact of the matter is they haven't really played that many good teams. The whole time they played Tampa, they played. I could go over the whole schedule with you right now. They haven't played a team that is really somebody that you say, okay, this is a convincing win. You know, they beat Miami, they beat Seattle, Washington, the Raiders, Arizona, New Orleans. You know, they beat the Chargers. So what? And the last game before that, like I said, they lost big against Kansas City. So since that time, they won every game. But those games, they have to win. Those are games you need to win. This is not, you pick the game you want to win. You got to win them all because it's still an NFL team. But I still think Philadelphia has also had a tougher schedule, and I think they're going to come out. They're more of a complete team. San Francisco is missing a shutdown corner. If they had a shutdown corner there, their pass defense would be a lot better. And they can probably then I would probably turn around and say this is like a pick'em game and maybe give the edge to San Francisco. But I like Philadelphia in this game, late at 2.5 points.
Oh, we definitely disagree. I think we're gonna be in store for a great game at 3:00 on Sunday. The other game too, though. I mean, both games are phenomenal. We got Cincinnati -1 against Kansas City. Another game that I can't wait to see. You want to go first on this one?
I'll let you go first. Let's see what you have to say.
Well, everybody wants to hear what I have to say. But let's get into it.
Yeah, okay.
So, Kansas City with the Mahomes injury, I think that this makes it a very winnable game for Cincinnati. Joe Burrow hasn't lost to Patrick Mahomes anyway. But I think Mahomes not being 100%, I think is the swing factor in this game. Kansas City needs Mahomes to win this game. He has to be healthy. He's got a high ankle sprain. We're going to see how he comes out, what he's able to do. The Cincinnati Bengals played a phenomenal game up in Buffalo in the snow. They went out and won a game that was a very tough game to win on the road. But now, this is it. This is the next game. And I think Burrow's cool as ice. I think, when it's all said and done, they have good receivers. They have a good running back in Joe Mixon. I like Cincinnati in this game with the Mahomes injury. I think, to me, that locked it.
Well,
once that happened, I had no question about it.
I agree with you, but for a different reason. I believe that Cincinnati would still win this game even if Mahomes was healthy. They have Kansas City's number. They've beaten them 3 straight times, including the playoffs. What their key is, they have a great defensive line, and they have what's known as a spotter. They don't let Mahomes take off. Trey Hendrickson sits back there, and he watches. He's like a spy. He watches to see what happens. They can't get their running game going, and Mahomes can't take off like he normally does. Now, granted, Mahomes has a high ankle sprain, and a lot of things are being said today. Oh, he's doing fine. He's this and that. We all know that's not true. I know what it is to have a high ankle sprain. I injured my ankle in a basketball game. Believe me, you can barely walk. I had a cracked tibia bone. As a result of it, your ankle blows up on both sides. This is not an easy injury. And to put pressure on it and have to stand in the pocket and have guys that are going to be going after you is very difficult. This is a game that Cincinnati definitely has their number. I like Cincinnati, and I was just on another show before this, I said, even if Mahomes was healthy, I still like Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is the guy that he's cool
Joe
as a
Cool.
cucumber.
Joe
Now,
Cool.
you made a comment that it was tough to win on the road at Buffalo. I loved Cincinnati in that game because Buffalo makes a lot of mistakes. And the game was won on the line of scrimmage against Buffalo. They won that struggle on both sides. They made Josh Allen make mistakes. He didn't even have a touchdown in that game. They held Buffalo's offense to one touchdown, okay, at home. They went on the road and they were up 14-0, and they did what they had to do. Burrow knows how to read defenses. He knows what's coming at him, and he's very accurate. The defense will step up in this game. I like Cincinnati in this game. I think, they have to go after Mahomes. If Mahomes can't make it, Chad Henne is he's a competent quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's not Patrick Mahomes, of course, but he can get the job done. He had a 98-yard drive in the second quarter against the Jags.
That iced the game. That was the icing.
The second quarter, right. And he's not as mobile as Patrick Mahomes, but he can get the job done. He's been there a number of years. He knows the system. It's not like some guy who just came off the bench and whatever, just signed. So KC is not, going to be beaten. I mean, they're not, in danger, but Cincinnati is the better team. They have their number, and I think Cincinnati wins by, say, a touchdown in this game.
So just to recap, I have San Francisco and Cincinnati. You have Philadelphia and Cincinnati. We're going to come to you live from Radio Row before the Super Bowl for our final show of the season, so make sure you're watching. Make sure you're following the Twitters. It's all at the bottom at Jeff Cadillac 1, at JV_the program, and at Sideline Sports 1. Make sure you're following it. If you're not following Jeff, you missed out his best bet of the week every week in the NFL season. He had a phenomenal year. You'd be up a nice amount of money. And you know what? Your pocket's kind of light because I followed him. So I'm doing really good right now.
Well, thank you very much, JB. I always love talking to you about football, and I hope everybody listening does the same.
So this was the abbreviated championship week show. We will see you guys in 2 weeks at Radio Row. The time will be determined because we're going to be live on Radio Row. We may have some guests pop in during the show, but make sure you're watching. Look out on Twitter and Facebook to see when that show will be. And make sure you follow it on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Otherwise, you're just missing out and you're giving up money. Don't give up money. It's not good. See you guys in a couple of weeks. Be good.
Take care, everybody.